boys and girls, welcome back to the ST3D video. Like always, my name is VJ. To start off by apologizing about a little bit of the noise. I'm doing some printing in the background, so if you do pick that up or hear that, I do apologize for that in advance. But as you can see, I got a box here. I've been waiting for this for a few weeks now. It's something that I've been wanting to try out. So today's video, we are going to be doing an assembly and getting the first print started on the, any guesses? Tornado. So let's get started. Alright, so we got the box here. Let's go ahead and take a look what's inside, and then we can go from there. Alright guys, so this is everything that comes in the box. So basically you got your top portion, which has your X and Z. It comes with all the motors attached, the extruder attached, hot end, everything's attached on that, wired, ready to go. Then of course you got the control box right there, as you can see. I've never had an experience, I don't know what these gaps are in here, but I'm assuming I'll find out for it down the line. Has a pretty cool display piece on it. And then last but not least, this is what's given to you that really matters. So to put this thing together, you have a spatula, wooden spatula. It's a little wobbly there, but hey, you know, we'll deal with it. Extra Bowden tube. I wish they would have just rolled it in like a circle instead of just bending it like this, but this is an extra piece, so not a big deal. Next, we have the power cord. After that, USB connection to connect to your computer. You have all the necessary screws here for your heated bed, which will help you level it down the line. Then of course you have your limiter switch. I don't know if this is a Z or a Y, but we will find out. It looks like the Y is already installed. I'm assuming this is a Z because it looks like the X is already installed as well. Necessary tools you're gonna need to put it together. Your brackets, I guess you just need to bracket one side, not both. Okay, good enough. Then here you have your little fancy zip ties, SD card, one extra nozzle, and I believe this is for your temperature gauge, for the thermometer or thermostat, whatever you want to call it. I forgot the exact word. I guess this is an extra piece because that one seems to be connected already. So, but that's it. That's what you guys got. Alright guys, so we're going to start with the bottom part first. Basically you're going to get 4 zip ties, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, holding the plate on. Once you unscrew those, just go ahead and take them off. Like so. That's pretty cool. They actually insulated the bottom of the bed where it heats up. So I'm assuming it's going to heat up a little bit faster. Padded it up. That's pretty cool right there. Okay, so we're going to start with this piece here. The good thing is we can check if all 6 wheels are good to go. So what I want you to do is go and flip this over, grab each wheel and turn it. You see right there, it's not moving the frame, not moving the frame, not moving the frame. This one's moving the frame. So besides this one, the other 5 are actually loose. So we need to go ahead and tighten those up. And to do that, I don't know if you can see on this side, let me get you a better angle of this. So you'll notice right here guys, on one side it's basically just 3 wheels. You don't need to worry about those. What you need to worry about, let me go and flip this over. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. All right. What you need to be worried about is this side right here. You see, they have centric screw nuts on them, 1, 2, and 3. So those are the ones that we're gonna go ahead and adjust. And once we do that, all the wheels should line up no problem, and your plate should be tightened. Let's get that done. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is just move this up a little bit, and again my centric nuts are on this side, and this side is basically just flat. We're going to go ahead and take the tools that it came with. We're looking for the wrench here. This one right here. Remember, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So this one, not working well. So I tightened it a little bit. A little bit more. And if you notice now, look at that. Now you don't want to over tighten these guys, so just enough to where it's getting friction, and then just tighten a little bit more. These are pretty loose here. There you go, that makes 2. That makes 3. So I bet you because I tightened these up, these 3 on this side will be working as well. Nope. Not so much on the last one. There we go. And that's how you tighten that up. It's good to get it done now and out of the way, guys, because if you don't, later on it's going to be a pain in the butt. So what we want to do, since we tightened everything, go ahead and move it. Make sure it's not too tight and it's flowing, which it is. Looks great. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next part. Alright guys, so I know what you're thinking. Let's go ahead and mount that hotbed or heat bed on here. No, no, no. That's not what we're going to do next. What we're going to do is go ahead and mount the top piece to the bottom frame. Now, before we get onto that, what we're going to need is the packaging with the mount. And all the screws that you're going to need are going to be right in here. So let's go ahead and get that done. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is once we have everything taken out of the packaging, we're going to go and prep it first. What you want to do is you're going to have 4 long screws here. Okay, and these are what's going to go from underneath and mount the 2 frames together. Now you're going to get this screw and you're going to get a washer like this. So just go ahead and put the washer through like so. And I've already done it on these 3, as you can see right there. Next, what we're going to do is take the mount plate. Does not matter which way in my opinion, but actually it looks like this side's more flat and has a rougher finish, while this is smoother. So this is going to be the outside. So I'm just going to put the screw right on in. Take one of these. And just enough so it stays. That's all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the remaining 3. Alright guys, so I got all 4 mounted on like so. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and mount the 2 frames together. And it looks like I have 2 extra pieces here. I might need them down the line, but for right now it just looks like extra pieces. So, alright guys, so we got the bottom piece. We're going to go ahead and take the top piece. Now keep in mind, and I did this when I got my first printer, so I'm going to walk you through this. Here is your Y motor. Here is the front of the printer. Okay. Here is your hot end assembly. And here is the feeder for the filament. So this is going to be the back piece. So make sure the feeder assembly goes to the motor in the back. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just put this up, somewhat line it. Okay. Now what I like to do is go ahead and mount the side mounts to keep the frame together with that, just in case I tend to hit it or tip it or whatnot. Now I'm not gonna tighten these all the way, but I'm just gonna put them on and make sure these are going long ways and these are going sideways like you see here. This way it's easier just to slide on in. I'm just going to take the Allen key here. Okay, that one's turned. Turned. And they're all turned. So see, this is still loose. but it's going to give me that extra security that I need. Now you're going to need to lift this a little bit and put the screws in from underneath. So what you can do is go ahead and take one of the foams that came with the packaging and slide it in. And I'm pretty sure every YouTuber out there that's done an assembly video on this will point this out. And the cool thing is you can actually see the holes right there, so you can line them up. So I'll just put this here so you can take a look at what I'm doing. And again, because it's loose, I can still move this back and forth. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Alright guys, so on this side where I mounted the plate, I just hand tightened it. I didn't really use an Allen key yet. So you can see this is still pretty wobbly, but guess what? That frame is holding it in place for me, or that bracket is holding it in place for me that I put on there. Now this side, same thing. You should be able to see the two holes right there, and we're just going to move this back and forth, line it up, make sure the edges are flush, and go ahead and mount it on there. Alright guys, make sure you get your foam under there for a little bit of leverage, and we got 2 screws remaining. So we're just going to go ahead and slide these bad boys right on in. And just go ahead and tighten them up. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take the Allen key and finish the job. So I had to go and get a extra piece of foam, guys. My fat fingers wouldn't fit under here. So basically I'm just going to take the Allen key, which is this one, and just go ahead and turn it until they all tighten. Make sure you find the right Allen key before you start screwing in. Apparently I grabbed the wrong one. Alright guys, so we're on to the other side. Mount is still a little loose, and that's actually what we want. So let's go and get our Allen keys and tighten the bolts. And they should go on fairly easily. If you're finding that you have to struggle a little bit, make sure you take them out and redo them, because you don't want to mess up the threading if it's going at an angle or something like that, and that does happen. So please, if you feel like you just inserted the screws and it's giving you a little bit of trouble, try to turn it a little bit and it's still giving you trouble, go ahead and take it out and do it again. Alright, so we got this one done. Just gonna give it that extra tighten at the bottom. Alright, and the next step would be to mount the brackets, but we already got them on. So all we got to do now is go ahead and tighten them up. And just to give you guys a heads up, this is what you should see. As of right now, I don't know if you can see, but that nut is going straight. When I turn it, see, it should turn and lock. So hopefully that's what's going to happen with all 4. So let's go and get this tightened up. Alright guys, so we got the bracket mounted on that side over there. Now we need to mount the bracket on this side. Cool thing is, on this side that you got to watch out for is this side actually has your Z limiter switch on it. I don't know if this is supposed to be assembled or not, but apparently mine's ready to go. But what you would do is you would just take the little black screws if it's not assembled, and same thing we did on the other bracket. The only difference is these screws are going to be a little bit longer, because your Z limiter actually mounts to it, and then the frame, or sorry, the bracket, and then the nuts come out on this end right here. So let's go and get this installed. Alright guys, a few things to know when you mount this on. So since this is the part that goes vertical, make sure these are straight. These are going to go horizontal, which means left to right. I'm going to go ahead and get these slid in now. Few things that you do need to know about. Okay, once you got everything lined up, okay, this bracket does move up and down by itself. Not to mention, your Z limiter switch can be moved up a little bit or down a little bit. So if you notice, if you're auto homing and your Z limiter for some reason, or your nozzle is actually sitting right on the bed, then that could mean that it's a little too low, so you need to go up. But if you notice that you install this and your nozzle is hovering over your bed, go ahead and loosen these and bring them down. So these might need to be adjusted, just to give you a heads up. So let's go ahead and get these installed. Alright guys, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and mount the heat bed. You're going to need the screws that came with it earlier. Basically the springs, is long screws here, and the leveling nuts at the bottom. Okay, now what you want to do, just to be safe, because you got 6 nuts just hanging at the top, take one of the padded foams that came in the box, pull this all the way forward, and what you're going to do, keeping in mind the wire goes to the back, okay? You put it right in the middle. And the reason we're doing this is because we don't want the bottom insulated part to get scratched up by those screws right there. So just try to line up the holes as best as you can. Once you do that, what you want to do is go ahead and take one screw from the top, one spring, and the cool thing about this foam, guys, it actually helps you a little bit to give you a little bit of leeway. So we're just going to push that screw through, and you don't want to tighten it. I just want to leave it like that, and then we're going to do that to all 4 sides. And there you go, guys. The bed is on. Alright guys, so what's next? Connect the control box with all the necessary wiring. Alright guys, now we're going to move on to connecting all the wires. Now if you notice, very easily labeled. This one is the Z limiter switch and this one is the Z motor. So the limiter switch plug is right here. Just make sure you line it up. The easiest way to do that is just go and plug it right on in. Be really careful when you do this part, because if you don't get it right, you're going to break a pin, and these pins are very small. So for this part, if you notice, there's this little U-shaped thing that comes out. That's what locks it in place, and that part's going to be out. Okay, so that's in. Next, we're going to move back here. And again, if you notice, the U-shaped is right there. And we're just going to go ahead and slide it right on in like so. And next we'll go ahead and do the X motor, the extruder, and the X limiter. Okay. Alright, so the first one for the X that we're going to do is the extruder motor, which is right up here. So go and plug that right into that. Next we're going to do the X motor, which is right over here, but the plug for it is underneath. Let me see if I can show you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. So again, just make sure the U is facing out, and I see these cables bent a little bit. That kind of worries me. So let's see what happens. Nope, went right on in. And then the last part we have is the limiter switch, which actually is right there. So let's get that plugged in. And again, the U-shaped part, guys, in the back. Now here, I would probably recommend taking an Allen key or a flathead. Once you line it up, go ahead and push that in. Looks about right. And the very last thing we're gonna plug in, guys, is the Y limiter switch and the Y motor switch. And that, my friends, you can find back here. That's your limiter switch right there. And that's your motor switch right there. So this should be pretty straightforward. Let's start with the motor. Or actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and start with the limiter switch first, because that looks like it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Oh, there you go. There you go. Alright guys, so these are the last two things. If you notice, there will be I think an 8-pin and a 4-pin. Very straightforward. See a little groove here, if you can see it. That groove is right down here. So you can there's a metal piece that sticks out. So you want to make sure you line up the groove with that. Plug it in. Twist it on. Same thing on this one. You'll see a little groove right there. There's a groove right there. Line them up. Sorry, not a groove, but a metal piece on the control box. Once you line them up, do that. Then last thing you need is to just connect the power cord right there and turn it on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the video for the assembly of the Tevo Tornado. I hope it was very easy and helpful for you guys. I will be making another video on this as far as adjustments and fine-tuning your prints and things like that. Now, before we finish, the only thing I gotta tell you is I forgot you gotta tighten out these bed leveling screws here, or knobs here. I just took one off. But go ahead and tighten them up so your bed goes down, and then you can go and level that up. And I will make that in the other video as far as the adjustments and things like that to get the printer going right, getting great prints qualities out of it. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was very helpful, and if you have any questions, concerns, please leave a comment down below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, then give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more new content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And like always, guys, good luck and happy printing.